I just love Minecraft snapshots. This is Snapshot 20w12a. We have some new additions, a lot of new things in the Nether, and then a few like changes that might be drama filled, okay? Right off the bat, the most exciting thing is going to be this block, right? This is the new spawn anchor, respawn anchor. So this is a way that you can actually set your spawn point in the Nether, which has not been possible before. Even if you used commands like spawn point would not set you in the Nether. If you tried to sleep in a bed, it would explode. And so now using this block, which has a really nice texture all the way around it. The texture at the bottom is no coincidence because it actually uses crying obsidian in the crafting recipe. So you use crying obsidian in the bottom and top layers and then glowstone in the middle. And then you get your respawn anchor as a result. Now that you have a respawn anchor and you set it on the ground, you click it, doesn't do anything. There's no GUI, there's no nothing. Don't mean to talk down at you, but that's what that means. The way that you activate this is you have to first feed it glowstone blocks, and the audio is amazing. I mean, just listen to this. So cool. It sounds awesome. And as you can also see, there is a texture on the edge that will update as you feed this more glowstone blocks. It maxes out at 4. I'm clicking and it's not taking any more. You can see I have a line here and the first has only 1, then 2, then 3, then 4 of the glowstone blocks inserted into this block, and the light level does change. So you can see that they get brighter as we head towards the more filled up respawn anchor, and you can also see it just happen as you are filling this up. Especially if I find a darker area, you can see that the area around this starts to brighten up whenever you fill it with more glowstone. Once it has at least one glowstone inside of it, actually, even if it doesn't, I think, so this has no glowstone, I can right click it. No, okay, so it does have to have at least one. I was lying to you just then. I corrected the lie. So at least it needs to have at least one glowstone block inserted. So it has to have this crazy portal thing on the top. And then you can set your spawn point to one of the blocks. This will eliminate your current spawn point. So if you have a bed in the overworld, this will overwrite that spot. And then I can just like keep clicking over and over, but I already clicked this one, so my spawn point is set there. So you can switch between different blocks. You can only have one selected at any one time. If you've made multiple, you do need to make sure to go over and click it before your spawn point is set. So I'm gonna choose this spawn point right here next to the lava and the crafting table. The other 4 are over there, so we're gonna choose that one. And then I'm gonna kill my character. And I'm dead. So when I respawn, keep your ears peeled for awesome sounds. Isn't that awesome? So basically it cracks the sound is like something breaking. And so that used up one of the glowstone that I added into the block, and then I can right click again and then it will be at full power. So you can use this up to 4 times to respawn back at it. And then after that, you will be sent back to the overworld and you'll get the message, just like if someone breaks your bed, it says your bed was missing or obstructed. And so you will not respawn in the Nether. You'll respawn at the world spawn if this does not have enough charge. It does not default back to your bed. So of course I wanted to know, can you put a hopper into this? Will it input any of the glowstone into one of these? And as of now, it looks like you cannot use hoppers in order to keep the glowstone flowing in. You do have to manually place it inside. Comparators do seem to work. So as I fill this with a little bit of stuff, then the comparator turns on. And if I take a redstone signal off of that, I'm sure that it would show me that the redstone increases as this fills up. And if you place one of these in the overworld and try to use it, it explodes, which is very similar to how beds explode in the Nether. Well, these respawn anchors, they will explode in the overworld. You do need to have it charged. So right now this is like basically safe. I can right click this all I want, but then as I fill it with any type of charge, then it will explode. Oh, it broke my portal. So I quickly moved into a super flat world to see if the explosions that are set off get any larger with the amount of charge. So this one is charged to 3, the previous one was charged to 2, and the first one was charged to 1. It doesn't look like it. These all look like the same sized explosions. And if you're wondering, yes, they do explode in the end as well. There is a new block in the game. It is polished basalt. So right here we have basalt pillars, and this is what polished basalt looks like sitting next to normal basalt. How do you get it? Well, it's pretty simple. All you have to do is smelt up your normal basalt. So you throw that into a furnace, and then the output will be the polished basalt. And you can really see that there's quite a difference. Like, this almost looks like the chiseled blocks that we have with cobblestone, and then the other is like actual cobblestone, and then the edges are also very, one's rough and one is nice and polished. And just like with basalt, this can be placed on its side just like you can with logs. And just to show you, that is the output from the furnace. Nylium? I always get that wrong. But anyway, it can now be bone mealed. I mean, you could bone meal it into nylium before, but now you can use bone meal on it, and then you will grow different, all the stuff that is normally in that biome. So you'll get the crimson fungus, you'll get the crimson roots, and every once in a while, I believe that you will get the warped fungus as well, because every once in a while, you see warped fungus pop up, but I'm not seeing any right now. Maybe I'm just crazy. But I like this a lot because that means that if you had a build and you really wanted some roots, now you can just bone meal the ground like you can with grass blocks, and you're able to get that sort of natural looking feel from the biome really, really quickly. There it is. I told you there was some warped fungus up in this biome. I'm glad I wasn't lying. Nether gold has changed a little bit. So this was just added in the last snapshot. And whenever you mined this out previously, it would drop itself as a block, and then you would smelt that into ingots. Now it no longer drops the block version of itself. Instead, it will drop golden nuggets. So this type of ore currently has been nerfed quite a lot, because right there, what I have, I think I had 8 different blocks, and that would have been 8 ingots. But now in this new update, I'll only get 4 ingots with 2 nuggets as a result, and that'll vary a little bit because the amount of nuggets that it drops it changes a little bit. So baby piglins, which is these guys, and hoglins now have a new feature where they stack on top of each other and do some crazy acrobatics, which is fun to watch. They've been, whoa, up to 3, holy moly. Are we gonna get a 4th on there, and then like y'all are gonna suffocate each other because you're all the way up there? No, they finally stopped. Who knows if this is a feature that is going to stay around, because that looks uber weird. It's so weird to come across these guys stacked on top. Stacks on stacks of piglins. Sponges got an update. Not really actually the sponge, but actually the hoe that you would use to get the sponge out of the water. I'm doing a really bad job of clearing away this lake. So now we have the ability to pick up sponges quickly with a hoe. The hoe has been updated a few times already in order to give it some capabilities that it didn't have before with mining out things faster. So we've seen this with hay, we've seen it with target blocks, seen it with a few things. Now it works with sponges, so both dry and wet sponges. And I've seen a whole bunch of community members wanting this to also work with leaves. Yes, it is true that you can use shears on leaves, but you get the leaf block instead of getting apples and saplings and that sort of thing. So I kind of agree with that. It'd be really cool if this would work on leaves to make it easy and quick to break leaves. But sponges have been added to the list of things that the hoe works with. This snapshot is not without its bugs, and there are an awful lot of them that I have already noticed. One of which is, wait a second, it's not doing it anymore? You're kidding me. It was doing it earlier. It's not doing it anymore? Well, I'm confused, and I'm also upset that I didn't record it earlier. I was having this bug that anytime that you like started to hit a block with a pick in your hand, then that block would just like disappear. It was this weird client-side thing because if you relogged, it would fix. But also, you could like just click the block that should have been there and it would pop back. I've also seen this happening with like blocks switching into other blocks. It's all client side, but it's just very, very weird. Another issue that I have noticed right here, I have a spawn point anchor, and you can fill it with glowstone, but I'm in survival mode and I only have one glowstone. The glowstone is not consumed when you fill it into the respawn anchor. So that's kind of weird. And like I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, there's a little bit of drama. So zero tick farming and AFK fish farming have both been nerfed and or removed. Zero tick farming, it was a technique where you could push blocks back and forth really quickly and have different things grow. So you could have crops grow really, really fast. That has been removed. Also, the fish farming has changed to where, and I still don't quite understand all of the mechanics that go into what a new fish farm needs to become. Before, you could have very compact AFK fish farms. It could be one block in size, and you could fish using just a very small amount of space, and you would get treasure from it that was very powerful. So you get a lot of enchanted books and items that have been enchanted, like bows and more fishing rods. So now there's a new parameter in the game called in open water, which is just a technical term for if the bobber is in this state. And so the water that the bobber is in needs to be, within certain blocks radius of other blocks, and needs to have open space to air. The water needs to be a source block, like all these certain things. And if it's not, then it will only give you fish and junk and no treasure. Now, Slice Lime, who is very active in the community, he's also, I believe, the lead technical director for Minecraft Java tech lead. I looked it out to get it right. Here's what he said specifically. He did a whole big post, but there's just one little part of it that I want to mention. I know there's a popular view that Mojang dislikes farms and automation. This is not true. What is important to us is that the game remains balanced and true to its core ideals. That is, huge effort bring stellar rewards. The flip side of that is that very little effort also brings relatively small rewards. So Mojang is probably not going, he's basically stated they're not going to destroy all farms, especially farms that seem like take a lot of effort to make. But specifically with fish farms, we have a situation where you can set up a fish farm very quickly with very basic items early game and then get all this crazy treasure loot from the output. So it seems like farms and even fish farms are going to be fine and not constantly edited out of the game or developed out of the game, but that they're going to be more difficult to make. So something like an Ender where you have to go into the end, build over the void, risk death, have all these blocks and resources, and then finally you're able to enchant with a whole bunch of enchanting orbs, then that's more okay because it took so much work to get there. But something like a fish farm that gives you tons of levels and tons of loot, that's not okay because it was too easy. I personally don't know how I feel about this because I love fish farms. I love that it's an early game thing you can do, and really it's only upsetting the people that know about this and use this actively, and people who didn't know about it now, if they ever get to the point where they want to make something like a fish farm, it's going to be a lot more complicated and a lot more difficult to jump into using a basic fish farm. So there you go. Now you know everything there is about this newest snapshot, even all of the community stuff. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of OMG Craft. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a big ol' thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe for future videos, tips, tricks, tutorials, and spotlights here on OMG Craft. See you in the next video. Bye!